You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean Johnson.
The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Homeland After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Homeland After Show.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, AfterBuzzers, and welcome to the season premiere of Season 3, Showtime's Homeland, starring Damian Lewis and
Claire Danes.
Claire Danes. She's remarkable. I'm your host, Thaddeus Massey, and joining me today is...
Hi, I'm Lauren Leonelli. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm John Comerford. I'm nowhere near as excited as Lauren.
I'm so excited.
So this episode is called 10 Man Down, and we find out why there's a huge operation that ends up being going down by the end of the episode.
A lot of people falling off the Yellow Brick Road.
Exactly.
That's right. All Wizard of Oz characters.
They open up with Quinn playing with some equipment in his kitchen, perspiring heavily.
Very sweaty and shirtless. Love me some Peter Quinn.
Oh my gosh! But this guy is like he has got nerves of steel. Obviously,
he's badass.
Yeah, he is badass.
And I am so excited they opened this episode with him. I'm sure all of you at home as well have been anticipating this day. I've been counting the days down, and I love that they open it up with Peter Quinn because he's awesome.
Right. So they're obviously telling us that there's going to be we're at war now.
Some stealth operation is going down.
Yeah.
When you see Peter Quinn.
I mean, 219 dead.
Yeah.
Staff, operatives, whoever was at CIA headquarters. Wow. Estes is gone.
I know.
I know so many people are probably happy that Estes is dead, and so many people are probably upset that Estes is dead. I kind of have mixed feelings about it.
Why would people be happy or sad? Why are you saying that?
Well, I mean, he is one of those characters that was kind of...
Yeah, love him or hate him. Yeah. No in between.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's very well put, Lauren.
I answered my own question.
Exactly. So he's not in the picture anymore. I mean, I liked him for the simple fact that he was that bad guy to hate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you kind of had to have that. Yeah. Maybe that's going to be a doll's character now.
Well, you had to have that. I think so. That's a good point. You had to have that because Saul was always trying to fight for Carrie. You had to have somebody playing that advocate, I think.
Saul's kind of falling off to Carrie's team, though.
I can't even believe what he did to her this episode. I can't even talk about it.
That was really shocking. But it looks like, a doll's in his ear. And it's like, look, this is for the survival of all of us. So this is kind of like for the greater good. So you have Carrie in front of the subcommittee in the beginning of the episode, getting grilled. And me, of course, I'm like, well, why is she the one that has to answer all these questions? Of course, she is the quote-unquote point person. And John was like, well, everybody is dead, that is. I'm like, yeah, that's right, everybody's dead.
Well, Estes would have been the guy.
Estes would have been the guy. But, Saul obviously was her superior, but we saw later that he ended up going and getting interrogated or questioned at the Senate Intelligence Committee.
And we guessed at that point in the beginning of the episode that he may have even been questioned in front of that committee as well. Before Carrie, they're just going through whoever was
behind the doors committee, so they could try to glean as much information as they can without outing anybody.
Right.
That's how it works.
It seemed as though they were like just trying to find a scapegoat for this whole scenario, somebody to take the blame, take the fall for it.
Well, the American public loves to blame somebody. You got to blame somebody. Every citizen, not just American, but any country that has something like that happen to them, you want to blame somebody. You want retribution.
Somebody to go get.
Natural, not a natural. I don't know what it is, but it's the baser instinct. Absolutely.
Right. I mean, I loved how jumping ahead a little bit, just how they showed in the upcoming episode how it seems to be there's like a whole bigger whole bigger thing that's going on around the situation, and what might be going on.
I want to go back to the whole idea that Saul threw her under the bus. What else was going to happen? I mean, you
what was he going to do?
And didn't she seal her fate when she goes in there and tells
to
him
the nice restaurant?
The whole thing is like every time she does this, she goes off her lithium, she screams at him in public, and tells him to fuck off, all that kind of stuff.
This is the one though that feels like how is he gonna get? I feel like they're never gonna talk again. Like they're done.
No.
Because all the other times, I know that's not true. They'll find a way, and the writing in the show is brilliant, and somehow I'm hoping will happen, because I love Saul and I love Carrie. Like, I love their, like, their relationship. But I feel like there's no way to come back from this. He just did, like, the worst thing. He outed her bipolar. That can't, how do you? I mean,
they're in dire straits right now. Like,
and he started the episode off, just to interject for a second. His line was, to just say what you just said, John, was, "I am not going to throw Carrie under the bus." And what did he do?
But let's face it, so far they haven't let out her name.
Right.
So that'll probably obviously come out at some point.
Exactly.
But he hasn't thrown her under this. He's just thrown an operative under the bus.
Semantics, but still.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he ends up doing that in the end anyway. I mean, when he gets questioned by the Senate Intelligence Committee.
Well, yeah, but he doesn't say her name.
He doesn't say her name.
He didn't say her name, did he?
No.
Okay.
And they can't.
They can't
because it's a federal crime to do that. So he's not going to do that.
Well, there's no actual proof too. This is all just like alleged guessing at this point.
Right.
So
it's not like he's Scooter Libby.
Right. I mean,
but they all are guilty of withholding information. So even Saul, I mean, they
know that everybody withholds information.
Yeah,
they know the nature of the business.
Yeah.
But at the same time, now it's like somebody has to be held accountable. So now we have to find somebody to pin the blame on at the end of the day. And
I don't like how Carrie just gets written off. I mean, I know she always kind of screws herself over because she goes and does something really super crazy, and it's the same thing that kind of makes her a super smart agent and makes her really go for it and get those operations done or whatever. But I feel like they just ignore, like, she freaking caught Abu Nazir, and they just like, oh, well, she slept with the senator or whatever. So I don't know. I feel like no one cares about Nazir. Nobody cares about that. I know, but that's a huge deal.
Well, they did when it was useful.
Right.
But, I mean, again, they're in the business of, whatever continues our agenda.
Yeah.
And if that will serve the greater good in terms of what we think our agenda is.
Exactly.
Then, they're going to do it. And she's a liability. Let's face it. As good as she may be, she's a liability.
She's still a liability, and you can't depend on somebody who's doesn't even take their meds regularly, as we saw.
This is the thing that bothered me about the premiere. As much as I enjoyed it, is like it's the same play.
Right.
It's the same playbook.
She's
going to go off her meds.
Right.
No, I'm fine.
Her dad comes.
Dad stops and says, "Hey, well, you think you are," and all this, and then she yells at Saul.
Yeah.
Because I know what's going on here, and then she tells him to F off. All that.
She's going the whole homeopathic.
Exactly. The only thing the difference is that usually Saul goes to her defense and doesn't do something like, which is what he did. That's the only difference here. But in terms of the storyline, you got to get her thinking that everybody's against her, because that's what we like. We like to see her fighting against all those forces that are against her.
Right.
So that's what's setting up the whole season. But the thing that bothered me about it is, but we've seen this play. Can we try a different play?
Yeah, but they only took this. Well, I guess it's going to go through. I mean, they cover so much in one episode. Usually, I feel like this might not get strung out as long as we think. They might fix it sooner than later. But we have seen this play. I'm just saying, I feel like within the season,
how are they going to fix it? I mean, she's on the outs greater than she's ever been on the outs.
You ask yourself,
she's going to have to.
She's going to be on the run.
You ask yourself that question after every single episode from season 1 and 2. You always go, how the hell are they going to get out of that? How are they going to fix this? And they do every time. Have some faith in the amazement of the show.
We'll see how good the writers
they're going to
put this together.
No, I'm sure they'll find a way back. I'm just saying that. But
is it going to be something?
Find a better way in.
Right.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Good at finding a way out. Find a better way in.
Right.
So. Maybe they're tricking us all into thinking, they're going to go this route again, and then they're just going to do something totally different.
Yeah, Saul wants her. He says, look, she's better when she's a rogue. She's going rogue, so I want her out. I don't know.
At least she could have hooked up with a guy that wasn't a ginge like.
I know. Why did she? At least we did see a lot of the same stuff. We saw her having sex with a redhead.
And then people fall into their own patterns. I kind of understood that part of it, but just in terms of the writing, for me, it was like just
kind of.
I see what you're saying, but
kind of the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they also can't ignore that this is her. This is clearly what happens. They also have a lot of experts on the show that are, highly educated in the, bipolar. No, in the
you mean for psychological?
Yeah, the psychological area, and they've had a lot of people write in to them saying, I suffer from this disease, and that you guys are her interpretation of this is so spot on how it really is. So
yeah, and I'm not even faulting that, because I think that is spot on. I think they always write to that, because I think that part is great, because that's what I meant by her falling back into her old pattern. That's what exactly what would happen. You can see
so there's almost no way.
Makes sense. It's just for me, it doesn't make for as interesting TV as doing something else to get into this.
No, totally. I think that's kind of hard to avoid falling into that pattern again if that's how it goes down usually with the disease. But I totally get what you're saying, John. Yeah, it would have been a little more interesting to see them enter into that in a different path, from a different path.
Do you think she's being a little irresponsible by going off of her meds, or do you think she's being positive?
She's always irresponsible in that regard.
Well, she thinks the reason why she went off her meds, she explained. She said she felt like she wasn't all there, that they make her feel cloudy, or she didn't make all her decisions. Then that bombing happened.
Yeah, but isn't that what every person who's bipolar
But she had good reasons. Like, she substantiated her going. She said, "Look, I sleep 8 hours a day now. I'm running 6 miles a day."
But that's the sense of denial that occurs.
Her father's correct. She's clearly she's back in that that she's got that crazed look in her eye when she made the colored charts the last season, when the yellow zone or whatever when she was babbling about.
That was, I mean, again,
she's back in
she's got the cork board and the map out.
You know it's trouble.
And the strings with all the locations.
And I mean, that's part of her genius, is that she can make sense of all that, but that's what also leads her down the path.
When she makes a real big collage in her living room, you know shit's going down. That's like the side.
It's art.
But I thought it was interesting because she's in denial, of course. Of this. Jessica is, of course, in her own denial about her daughter.
Oh, yeah.
Even Saul's in some kind of denial about his wife and about his Mira, and even what he's waiting for things to present itself. I'm going, that's you're forgetting what's happening.
Right.
So it's really, for me, it was a whole sense of denial throughout the whole particular episode.
I mean, it kind of fits. You have the agency, which is blown to bits.
Yeah, but it's 60 days is 2 months.
Right, no, exactly. But Adal even mentioned, he was like, look, I mean, they, even after 9/11, they started working on the Pentagon
the next day.
Like, look how much time has passed, and they haven't started working on CIA yet.
And it also look around you, look what you're in.
It's a whole. It's just a whole. They want to remind us what's going to. It's like they want to take us down. But
and that's how much in denial he is. Is he's not even paying attention to the hole around you that's not getting fixed.
Right.
So
Saul's got some stuff happening at home.
He doesn't have anything happening.
You're right. There's nothing happening at home with Saul, and that kind of tells me also that Saul is. He's, we're talking about, speaking of denial, that he's in some cloudy, he's like some bipolar-ish.
They all have something.
He's like he's like bipolar-ish himself.
Yeah.
Just in how he lives his life, like how he operates on a daily basis.
I think
personally,
that's true, because when before he was much more decisive about right and wrong, and even though he may not have agreed with it, he seemed to have his own kind of construct about the things that are integrous and things that aren't.
Right.
But now that he's leading it, and he's now the acting CIA director.
Yes.
I think things got a little murkier for him.
Yeah.
Well, because
he doesn't know what to do. And he is scared.
He also had a little bit more emotion than Estes' character, which made Estes the type of guy who could just be like, nope, not doing it. Who cares about Carrie? Where Saul was always the character that would come in and have the emotion. Now it's like if he holds on to that emotion and caring about Carrie and trying to,
Well, he's the director of the CIA.
He can't do his job then, is what I'm saying. Right. So I feel like he's got to, and I don't know, I feel like,
I think this might be an uncomfortable position for him to be in.
Well, yeah, because I think it was easier for Estes, because Estes, we knew he was kind of driven by his own sense of narcissism.
Exactly.
He wanted to be the man.
And that's the antithesis of Saul, pretty much.
I think Saul is much more conflicted and layered, and he has a conscience more so than Estes does. So it's more difficult for him to make those decisions, because you were just mentioning with Estes, if it didn't play into what he thought, where he was going with his career, it's like, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, right.
I think Saul's way more conflicted.
Right.
Which is what makes him so interesting. Yeah. And there's definitely the whole point of even Mira in the storyline is to show that Saul has, a soft spot. He has, and also with Carrie too, you see that with his relationship with her. But it's just so interesting. I'm wondering where there's also, I feel like they put Mira in there to show that Saul can be like weak, or that he has I can't say hard to articulate, like he has a huge flaw.
Right.
And it comes with her. Carrie's got a flaw too. Like obviously it's her disease and all that, but Saul, he's got one too. It's like with her, he's not paying attention to his marriage. They're writing that in there for a reason.
Well, I mean, think about the line of work they're in. You can't be a normal person and do what they do. Anyway, to a certain degree, you have to think about it like that. But I mean, the fact that is, Mary is there, and that it seemed as though, or at least they made us believe that's what he wanted. He wanted her back. He wanted his wife back.
That's what he says, but then he never actually does anything to make her feel like that's the case.
Right. So now she's back, and he said he's waiting for situations to present themselves, and it's like, just like John said, or we're watching, situations presenting yourself. Your estranged wife is like, I've been sleeping in a separate bedroom.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they're showing that for a reason.
Well, I think it also demonstrates
he's not
that
taking care of business. He's not taking care of business.
Yeah, absolutely. He's stuck. He doesn't want to make the wrong decision because.
Well, see, now he's in a position of power, and he was always the kind of middle management before.
But look what he said to Adele. It's like this could be we could either.
So he could fight one way and fight for this. Yeah, so he had things going both ways, and now it's kind of like.
I felt like he didn't even want that op to go down. I think he wanted Peter Quinn to not get in there, and I know we said give him 30 more seconds, but I feel like. I don't know why I read it this way, but something in his eyes. It felt like he didn't want Quinn to get the guy, and he wanted to call the whole op off. You got to kill all 6 of them, or nothing at all. I feel like he has a hard time pulling the trigger. He can't do it with his wife. He can't. How is he going to be? That was no pun intended. I'm just saying.
Way to go, Lauren.
That was good, Lauren. I like that one.
New heights here.
I'm just saying. Saul is now in charge, and he can't make any decisions.
Right.
It's making me nervous. But then,
he is
when it came down to,
the doll is telling him he's like the little bird chirping in his ear.
But then when it came down to outing Carrie, his his friend, the one person that you think he's always going to be there for, and then he just went off. Screw it.
Yeah, but he's been like a mentor to Carrie. They're not really like peers.
But I think
so to speak.
But I think that was the arc for him in this particular episode. He wasn't decisive. He wasn't sure what he was going to be doing. And finally, he starts to get decisive. In the middle of the operation, I think he started to get decisive.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And then at the end of it, I think you're seeing him, okay, this is the best way to deal with this.
Why her?
Because it's already out.
Yeah, she's the only one that
they were going to contain it, and maybe two things. Either he thinks, you know what, now that it's out, rather than containing it, let's use it.
Right.
Or this is his method of figuring out how to contain it, is to get the press to say whatever they want about it and then have it be done with.
Who do you think leaked the story?
I'm just so hurt by Saul's actions. I'm so hurt by Saul's actions. I don't even know what to say.
Doesn't it bother you that Carrie always just goes flipping out on him?
But he deserved it.
How did he deserve it? He's not the one that planted the story.
Well, she thought that he did, and I could see why. And he even thought so.
But that's my point. She doesn't give him the benefit of the doubt, and you're okay with that. But when clear, I mean. Why does she go every time?
I'm just disappointed in you, Saul. I'm just disappointed.
Every time that something's gone wrong, she's gone off on him, even though it hasn't been his fault.
I know, she's cray.
And you give her the break.
Okay,
I don't give her the break. She's cray.
I think he hasn't kept her in the fold like he should. Like, she's been involved in all these things, and when somebody gets isolated away, now their own brain starts to work against them, especially with her. She got 2 brains working against her. So it's like, dude,
that is not an accurate representation of what we here at AfterBuzz think that the bipolar disease is about. That's just Thaddeus being.
But so you don't want to leave her.
I know.
To think, because you don't know what she's going to do. You have to keep her under some kind of surveillance, and Saul needs to bring her in and say, look, this is what's going on, and do this and do that, and blah, blah, blah.
Get rid of her.
No.
But you can't do that now.
What do you have against Carrie?
Because I'm saying, from Saul's perspective, either you have to do that,
he hasn't
realize that she's a liability and say, look, let's cut this and get rid of it. Rip the Band-Aid and get rid of it.
I have faith. I'm very disappointed in Saul, and I'm very hurt.
She's under a microscope now, so how are you going to do that?
He has a master plan. I think.
Yeah, I would agree.
This is all like he has no intentions.
I'm glad you have that much faith in Saul.
He has no intent. Do you? Okay.
I don't believe.
Season 2 ended. Wait, stop. Season 2 ended. Do you remember what he looked like when he saw her alive? Do you remember that like heart-wrenching look he gave her, and when he said, "Carrie"? It was so. See, that's what I want. I want old Saul and Carrie back, and I feel like he is not really throwing her under the bus right now. I have faith. He has a master plan. He will protect her.
Well, right now I think it's all a ruse.
But it's just very...
It's part of his plan.
He's going to play to play.
Yeah.
I mean, he has to at this point.
Yeah,
you know?
and unfortunately, she's, of course, going to buy it. But, you know...
She's going to... Yeah, of course.
But it's to Saul's advantage. It's to the CIA's advantage because it's already out there. Let's use it.
Right.
How that will play out, I don't know.
I love how he validates when she's right about something. Like, she comes in the restaurant in the middle of the tiramisu, and she cusses everybody out, and they have to throw her out of the restaurant. And then he sits down next to her dog, and he's like, she's right. She's right, you know.
But she is usually...
she's always right.
She's always right.
Yeah, she knows what she's doing. I mean, she knows what she's talking about.
She is a liability, you're right. But that is also what just makes her an amazing agent. The same thing that makes her a liability is the same thing that makes her an amazing agent.
Yeah, well, that's part of it. But I'm just going to throw this out there because I know a lot of people don't agree. I don't. She's not always right. She makes horrible decisions, and a lot of them are wrong.
But
I think she makes more personal bad decisions
of course.
than professionally.
But then those lines are blurred now because she's sleeping with the ginge.
The work.
Brody.
Which is not how we believe
work at work.
That's what we don't. That is just my interpretation of a redhead.
And we know you fans are like very hardcore on, you know, details and whatnot, and we don't get everything right, obviously. So give us a call if you want to put in your 2 cents or whatever, and you can question or correct me, John, or Lauren about anything. 424-256-1729, 424-256-1729.
There is a lot that goes on in these episodes.
Yeah,
we're watching it just like you guys.
There's a lot of detail, a lot of information.
Yeah. We see stuff that you might miss. We miss stuff that you might see. Let us know.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, we just saw it. So
exactly.
We just saw it. We come up right after we see it because we want to get right in here and start the conversation. We want you guys to continue it.
Exactly.
So let us know where we messed up.
So we'll see how this develops. You guys believe that Saul has some master plan. I don't believe Saul has a master plan.
So you just think that this is it. He's like writing Carrie off.
I think Saul, no, I don't think he's writing Carrie off. I just believe that he's not exactly sure what to do right now. And just like how he ran that operation, he was very reluctant. He was very, quote unquote, timid. And it even translated over to his home life and how he operated with his wife. He was timid to make a move, and he was timid to... This is the space that he's in right now. So I just don't feel that he has a master plan because that's not in the training manual when you're coming through Langley. That just 290 people... Okay, this is on your your essay question. 290 people... 19 people get killed at the... You know, what do they call it? What's the building called? A CIA building. At Langley, right? Yeah, call it Langley. What do you do? You become you could become the director of the CIA. What do you do next? You have no freaking idea.
Saul planted the bomb. No.
He's making decisions in the moment, is what you're saying. You think?
Well, the thing about that is
he's paralyzed. He's paralyzed, just like his wife said, because he's thinking. What did she say? She said he's thinking. Too much.
Analyzing
right. He's analyzing too much, and it's paralyzing his ability to make a decision. He's not being assertive.
But I think. I don't know that he has a master plan, but it feels right to me that he would do this for whatever reason. But it also feels right that he would, in some way, find a way back together because he's always been her protector. I don't think he's just throwing her under the bus for no reason. I think there is a reason. I don't know what the long game is on that, but I'm hoping just because I like that she has one person, you know, even though she has no right to it. The way she treats him, you know, why should he continue to protect her when all she does is just give him grief and, you know, scream at him, and every time something goes wrong she blames him even though it's not his fault.
Good though.
I also think that he knew he was going to be testifying. He's got to know at some point that they were going to ask about this because the story's already broken. So I got to think that he was thinking it through, like, how am I going to respond? I wasn't as confident when they were asking him the questions whether or not he was coming up with that information or that response right then, or if he had already thought it through. He hesitated
long enough to make me think that he just decided right there to do it, but that he does have a master plan within that decision. He didn't answer the question.
Coached. Adal is helping him along.
Do we like Adal? Do we think he's out to get
Abraham?
Yes, it is definitely Abraham. You gotta like him.
And I love that he's morally questionable.
Right.
I like that.
But do you think that he's out to get Carrie?
No, I don't think. I don't think he has any agenda on her.
No,
I don't think he has an agenda.
Not a personal one anyway. But I think, you know.
I think he's out for CIA survival.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, he definitely is.
I mean, what are they going to do? They're going to say, "Oh, the CIA thing actually didn't work after all."
I know. Wait, let's just be real. I mean, I guess
shut the CIA down. It's not going to happen.
They touched this on the show, I think, didn't Mira say, can they really do this? Can they really dissolve the CIA? And he was like, yeah, come on. That sounds.
They have the power to.
Yeah, but see,
why would, I mean,
that to me,
one mistake and come on.
That to me is like unreal. That's like, okay, that's for television.
That's what I'm saying. Like 9/11
really?
happens, and they use that real circumstance in the storylines of the show,
right.
and they don't, and that's not cause to be like, well, hey guys, hello, how'd that happen? How'd that one slip by you?
Or maybe they don't mean dissolve CIA. Maybe it's just
that
clean house.
Oh yeah, maybe. No, they made it sound like they meant they were going to get rid of it.
That's what it did sound like, but that didn't really sound logical to me. That's why I was
crazy.
like, maybe they just mean clean out so many departments and replace them. You know, maybe.
I think they were just trying to explain the stakes. I don't think it was any. I don't think it was ever thought of as
very
something
serious.
I mean, if you think about it, you have 219 staff and
they already basically cleaned out part of their.
No,
so,
exactly.
Here's the thing, realistically.
So then, how effective would the CIA be at this point with all these people that are?
But here's the thing: realistically, who would be responsible for any kind of intelligence gathering overseas? Who would do it? FBI couldn't do it.
Yeah.
You're going to get our military involved in that? They're not going to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
You just have to create another agency.
Whole other.
Change the name.
So, it's realistically, it's never going to happen. Whether or not it's the CIA or some other agency, it's still going to be an agency that's a spy network.
Right.
Exactly. It's not just going to not exist. Yeah.
Interesting.
So.
Wow.
So, Dana comes out of rehab.
Oh, jeez.
We got to talk about this.
With a new boyfriend.
With a new boyfriend and selfies and hidden phones.
What the hell with the selfies?
I can't believe they did that.
And they're being watched by the FBI.
Yeah.
And this poor girl, I mean, she has it rough.
Mm-hmm.
I wish the brother had a little bit of more of adjusting to deal with. I mean, for a boy, his father being the number one public enemy, number one around the world.
Yeah, they didn't explore that.
He seems to be fine.
So it would be interesting to see.
They never really
give him a chance.
Yeah, it's the little girl.
I know, and and again, I'm going same story.
Right.
Well, they
upped the ante, of course.
They did.
They tried to commit suicide and everything like that. But
they did. I mean, now they've got the grandma that's here, and the grandma, I mean, when Dana was like overhearing her grandmother and her mom speak, and she was explaining to her, I raised a teenage daughter. If she really wanted to kill herself, she could have. She'd be dead already.
Yeah, exactly. Now, what do you think?
How do you think? What do you guys think Dana was thinking when she was hearing that? Because I'm like, how is she absorbing that right now?
I don't know how she was absorbing it, but I was going, please just put her in there, get her in there. I want the conversation between the three of them.
Well, that's what I wanted. I wanted her to be like, really, grandma, really, like confront her.
Exactly. No, this is what I was thinking. That's what I was like. Come on, get in there, get some conflict, get some drama. And then they pulled it away, and I went, well, okay, great. So
because they're gonna make you wonder now what she's gonna do with that.
I know, but I would have still wondered, because what I would have gotten is that raw thing it's going on with her. I still wouldn't know. She would have been even more of an enigma, because I wouldn't have known what she did. I would have just known how she felt about it, but that wouldn't have told me what she would have done.
Well, it might. It might tell you what she might do, or might lead you to a more specific idea of what she might do.
But I still think it's a better choice than having her just overhear something, because how many times have we seen shows where they overhear something instead of actually confronting the damn thing?
Well,
I know, but that's what makes you... Yeah, I know what you're saying, but that's what makes you watch. That's what makes you tune in.
No, that doesn't. Not for me. It doesn't.
Why?
Because it bores the crap out of me. It's like you had a perfect chance to have a confrontation where you had three different viewpoints, all different. That's great stuff.
Right.
I don't know.
And then you just... but no, she walks away.
But maybe Jess will take something from that, and she'll say, you know, Mom, maybe she's absorbing it like, you really didn't understand me as a teenager. Like, so maybe I'm not really understanding my daughter. Maybe I need to start looking at it
she's
through
clearly not.
Dana's eyes. You know what's really funny is how clueless she was when she went to go meet the doctor.
Oh, yeah.
And
Jessica?
Yeah, Jessica.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, we're speaking of Jessica. And how she was really thinking that the therapy was more suitable for Dana as opposed.
She's the one that had the problem. I didn't try to convince her.
Right.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, the problem is like you missed it. Like, so obviously there was a problem at home where you wouldn't see that this was a potential problem.
Denial's a powerful thing.
What?
Denial's a powerful drug.
This is making me think of the whole Jessica, Brody, Uncle Mike triangle. What happened to Uncle Mike? Why can't I not remember what happened to Mike?
Mike was his buddy, right? That was in service with him. That was investigating if he actually was the one that.
That's a good question. I don't recall what happened.
I don't remember. If you guys listening or watching,
that's a good question. I don't remember what happened to him
Where
either.
is Uncle Mike?
Besides them hooking up.
I know.
Somewhere they hooked up.
No, they opened the very first episode of this television show was them
hooking up,
and then
they hooked up last season too, though.
And then they hooked up again last season.
Yeah,
I liked me some Uncle Mike too.
You like you some.
I'm just saying, Uncle Mike, if you had a choice, girls or guys, Brody or Uncle Mike, like, really? Come on, Jess. Uncle Mike, all the way. All I'm saying is, though, he sort of stepped in as
cards and letters to Lauren.
he stepped in as that father character. Now the grandma's taking that place. But I feel like, where is he? Is he going to come back in and kind of help Jessica with Dana?
That'll be really interesting. I don't know. That's a tough one.
I hope not. I hope not. Because
it's the same thing.
Exactly. What are they going to do with that storyline? Either they're going to fall in love again, they're going to start, whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, Brody's not coming back anytime soon.
Exactly.
So it's not like when he went and they thought he was dead and he was.
And they had that affair to cover up.
He's trying to come home. Like his energy was to come home, and they brought, they sent him back home, and they turned him, they flipped him, and made him, this guy that he became. He's gone. It doesn't make sense for him to come back.
For Uncle Mike to come back?
No, for Brody to come back. So from Mike's standpoint or his position, it's like, well, he's public enemy number one. I don't think we'll be seeing him around anytime soon.
Yeah, right.
So
I'm just curious because the dynamic of their family is changing now, and like I said, the grandma's entered the picture, and you just wonder who somebody's. I don't know.
The grandma is getting on my nerves.
The grandma is
already. Wow.
Yeah, she's annoying.
Yeah,
for sure.
Like when she's at the dinner table, just like
she's
going off. I'm like, shut up already.
But I mean, quiet? I could understand her perspective. I mean, obviously, this is her daughter.
She's like posing questions and that naggy, that nagging, like the stuff that's already done. She said, you never gave him your dreams, and you were supposed to, he always had this, and you were supposed to blah 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 blah. And
well, that's true.
But she's posing questions in an annoying fashion, which
is like it's
things
pointless.
that are done you can't do anything about now. So why are you bringing and dredging up all this old stuff that has nothing in front of the kids on top of that?
That's what moms do.
That's what moms do, because this is her daughter, and she's like, screw that guy. Look what he did.
Yeah, well, she's trying to move on with her life. She's looked for 2 jobs. She's had, 2 interviews for that week or whatever, and she says, hey, I'm getting interviewed by 22-year-olds. What was her degree in again? Accounting or something? Accounting, yeah. So she's trying to move forward. She has to bring some money in.
Yeah.
And then it's she's asking the government. She's like, the government.
What you're describing is what every mother does.
And I also feel like that conversation really shouldn't have been happening in front of the kids.
Well, I think that's why it did happen, because it was Jessica was looking at her mom, telling her to just stop, not in front of the kids.
Right.
So that also
and she's
set
probably
up the other
frustrated
thing.
as a mom, but I understand. But still, it's like, really?
Yeah.
Really, Grandma?
She's just being annoying. I agree.
Nana? Really, Nana? Shut up.
And I thought that we were talking about Dana and her rehab stint. I thought as soon as I saw that kid, that boyfriend of hers,
you said.
I said, that kid's trouble.
He looks like one of the Hemsworth brothers to me.
Okay.
I wouldn't give him that much credit. But since I'm the resident, I'm going to talk about all the guys that are hot on the show. I wouldn't give him that much credit. But he.
But you give Quinn that much credit.
Oh yeah, because he deserves it.
Oh gosh.
No, but that kid is trouble, and I feel like.
You feel like he's up to something, or do you feel like he's just trouble?
No, I feel like he's up to something.
He does seem like he's a little up to something.
Well, it's going to get Dana in trouble, because that's what Dana does.
She's going to run away with him or something, and then she's going to be on the
FBI looking
and then they're going to they're going to hit somebody with a car.
There you go. See, she always picks them, and that's her pattern.
The remix of
so we can see her get in trouble with another guy.
What was Walden's kid's name again?
I don't recall.
I don't know.
But,
Josh or something.
So
Finn?
Is it just her acting out? That's what the selfie's all about? Is that just her being rebellious? I mean, it's like, what the hell is that?
I don't know. I can't decide what her, like,
I didn't get that at all. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, that's what people do.
I don't know. I don't know why she, I mean, I definitely think she's.
If you have Instagram, you see people take selfies all the time.
No, I know that they do, but I guess what I'm asking is, what, in terms of the character, her arc, whatever, what is that about?
Well,
is it just because she's rebelling? Is there
lack
some
of
other...
a father figure feeling like she can, you know, maybe that's the underlying message there, that there's not, and clearly her mom's missing the signs of her being suicidal, and there's obviously a whole bunch of other distractions happening. She's trying to find a job. She's not, the parenting is not happening. Right. So she's doing this thinking, oh, well, I can do whatever I want. I also think that
But is this just going back to what Grandma said? She's just looking for attention? Is that all it is?
Maybe, but I also feel like the point of putting that in is that to show that this kid is manipulating her into doing something that she might not normally do.
He didn't. How did he manipulate her?
Well,
she started it.
That's true.
He didn't send one to her.
Well, who knows what that note said? They didn't read. He left her a note.
And they never showed the establishment of the relationship.
And he also,
they could have already been having sex or whatever, as far as we know, because all of a sudden this guy, she's been with this guy in rehab, right?
The only thing the note was it that she said Shiva? I think was the only thing that you said. Shiva the Destroyer. Is that what she said? So is that all we know from the note? Because I didn't read it. I didn't get a chance to read it.
Yeah, I didn't read it.
No, you couldn't see it.
Yeah, you really couldn't see it.
No, it was just that, and they obviously aren't reading it out loud for a reason. I think that there's some manipulation happening there, and it's subtle. It's not obvious. This kid is, you know, giving her a phone, sneaking her off and making out with her. Clearly she ended up obviously taking the picture and sending it, but I feel like there's something underneath that. That kid is trouble, is what I'm saying.
Do we get his name?
I didn't.
I don't remember.
Bad news, according to Lauren. That's
bad news.
Bad news, Ben.
Okay. So we'll see what happens with that. But I was really glad to see that Jessica was smart enough to have the bathroom redone. Because I was thinking when she got home, I was like, I hope she remodeled the bathroom, but knowing Jessica, she probably did it.
I didn't even think about that.
But she did. I was surprised.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I mean, she doesn't want her to come home to that.
What lovely choices.
Huh?
Lovely choices.
You liked the tile?
Yeah.
Good color scheme.
It was great. It was a great color scheme.
The mosaic tile.
She probably reglazed the tub and everything.
Oh my God, guys.
I'm just saying. She doesn't want her to be in the same mind state. At least, and I like the fact that Dana actually went into her room and actually took down a lot of the things, because that's going to take her back to the same probably emotional, psychological state that she was in.
I also feel like she was doing
she did.
Yeah, and I also feel like it was kind of her being like, I'm not a little girl anymore. These things are like these little kid posters of this stupid boy that whatever they were, and she was taking them down like she's making a statement.
But then she goes off and does the selfie thing, which to me just sounds like a petulant child. So
no, but it's something that an adult would do.
Yeah.
No real adult would do that.
But you know what I'm saying?
There's some listeners that are probably taking selfies now.
No. What I'm saying is that is more sexually advanced than what I think a child her age should be doing. That was like I'm not a little kid anymore decision. Right. I'm taking down these posters, this little girly room, and I'm gonna be a woman. This is what women do in her mind.
Yeah, that's kind of my point. Is that's a child's view of what a woman would do. So
that's what she thinks she's doing. So. She's looking for something right now, and this guy, unfortunately, is.
She just has a huge void in her life right now. That's
what I'm saying, and it's him. He's filling the void, and he's trouble.
Right, he is trouble. This guy. We'll see what happens with Dana. I was, segueing from that into going back to Quinn, talking about kids. It was interesting to see that Quinn didn't post the bomb on the car when he was going after that first target. And I love how you actually figured out, Lauren, that or you actually pointed it out that all the targets were named after Wizard of Oz characters.
That's right.
And that was really funny. I thought that was cute.
10 Man Down.
10 Man Down. So that's where the title came from.
Wizard of Oz is one of my favorite movies, but yes, Dorothy, the Cowardly Lion.
But what really sucked is how he ended up killing the kid anyway. And John called that out. John was like, that's the kid. No, that's the kid. No. And he finally got to the kid. He's like, yeah, there's the kid right there.
That scene made me so nervous. I realized that 35 seconds into it, I wasn't breathing. Did you hear me go, I stopped breathing?
It was so funny because I was pointing out Thaddeus. I'm going, look at her feet. Your feet were like.
I was so nervous. I was so nervous. This show makes me so nervous.
What do you think something's going to happen to Quinn?
I don't want anything to happen to Quinn.
Nothing's going to happen to Quinn.
Well, it might. Look what they just did to Carrie.
He got shot last season, didn't he?
Yeah.
He did.
He got shot.
Yeah. That's right.
So something's happened to him before.
Yeah,
but I mean, he's that was an operation. He ambushed him.
He was a beast.
He put a bomb on one side of the building, went on the other side of the building, went in there.
I love him so much.
And got his target. You know?
You're going to send him a selfie?
Yeah, I am. I'm going to send Peter Quinn a selfie.
Okay. I didn't know that was like, I was really surprised that he didn't still put the bomb. I mean,
use the bomb.
Yeah, I was surprised.
But it was great to use it as a diversion, though.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I was surprised he didn't put it on the car still, even with the kid. Because these guys are like CIA, ops, like.
Yeah, and I think more than anything, he was thinking like if a kid gets killed, not so much that he was. I don't know if he has any moral issue with that,
right.
But I think he would know that if a kid gets killed, PR-wise, that's not going to be good for us.
Oh, I think it's a moral thing. Well,
I'm not as
I mean, for him,
positive about that.
For him, it was a moral thing, I think, but
he has a child, doesn't he?
I don't know.
I can't remember.
Wait,
isn't there? Why
he used to mess with that nurse?
Yeah, and they have a child.
A kid.
Yeah.
And Carrie, she drudged up all
because
the
she thought that he was like a bad dude, and then they discovered that he
had like a little family on the side.
So
or something.
I think that yes, you're right, John. It's bad press.
Well,
we don't want TMZ talking about that.
It's horrible. I mean, as soon as a kid gets killed, if it's just
But it's also, but then
enemy combatants. As soon as you have collateral damage that are and a 6-year-old boy, and then it's like, that's all.
Of course, but I also feel like there's.
But they
a
have
moral
strikes
thing
all the
there,
time that kill kids.
Yeah, well, hey,
exactly.
Nicholas Brody, that's his whole thing.
His whole thing was what's the kid's name?
Isa.
Yeah.
So I mean, kids get killed with those strikes in the war zone. Over there, like
right.
and it turned Brody into a terrorist. So that's the point why they, it's one of the big reasons, besides the morality of it. But I'm just saying I don't know Quinn's morality. I think obviously he does in preference. Yeah, I don't want to kill any kids.
Of course,
I'm sure. But if it's an operation that the whole thing depends on that, I don't know where that particular character would fall on that continuum. That's all I'm saying.
He only had to kill one guy. The guy was in the backseat of the car, window down. Just roll up with the window down.
Yeah.
Sniper the guy, shoot the guy with the silencer, and just roll off.
But they obviously wanted to make a statement with the bomb. So for whatever reason,
I just feel like
I think the sharpshooting would have been a better approach. But they wanted to make a statement. I mean, using a bomb is way different than a sharpshooter. So.
Yeah, but how would he have gotten away with that on a public street like that and then just drove off?
He was on a bike. Bomb and he was going to use
the bike, I know that, but I'm talking about you think it would be a better idea for him to take him out with a gun. How? Because it's in a different, not in that situation, not with him driving.
Well, he was in traffic.
Oh, yeah.
The car... if his car stopped,
the only thing,
because they were in traffic, he would have just been able to take off, unless those guys had Uzis or something and just jumped out of the car and started shooting.
I mean, you can't do that.
Or if they thought, the thing was armored car or something, maybe they thought it was an armored car and the windows would be bulletproof.
Oh, maybe.
But then he wasn't planning on the window being rolled down.
When he did drive up, the window did roll down, so it's not armored. But
and you can't bank on the window being rolled up. I mean, rolled down.
But their intel may have been that it's probably bulletproof glass, so you're gonna have to do explosion. But it would have been, but he could have easily done it that way with.
He is a sharpshooter, that Peter Quinn.
And you mean as a one word, not as a sharp shooter?
No, I mean whatever. I'm not going to live any of my comments down.
I was letting you go on that one.
I will say this though, he followed that car a little too close for my liking.
Yeah.
That didn't seem very Quinn-like to me. He wasn't very stealth there. He was just like on the dumb bike, nothing. You could see his face. He's just like, yep, following the one.
Yeah, but he was blending in. It's traffic.
He was not blending in down the street where it was just like an alleyway and it was one. No, I don't like it.
They travel like that over there.
I feel like that was like that car pulled out and he just followed right away. Like no space. I don't know.
The only thing, because I agree with you, it was like lazy, if you ask me. But the only thing I put to it was that, well, maybe this banker doesn't think he's a threat to anybody or in any way in danger, so they're not going to be watching.
Yeah, except for his house is like a fortress.
I know.
And he's got guards and stuff.
I agree. That's why I said that's what I put to it.
Hole in the story.
While it was happening, I'm going, I guess he doesn't feel like he's a threat or needs it. Until he got to the house, and I go, well, that didn't make sense at all.
Yeah.
So, but there's lots of laps like that. You just kind of have to roll with that.
Well, what I was thinking was them going after these targets to begin with. It seemed like they're kind of like phantom targets, like they're making up somebody or making up a network to take down that could be possibly related.
Right.
And then for those of you listening, I'm doing air quotes right now. You can't if you're not watching. Like if they're real targets or not. And even they brought it up in the Senate Intelligence Committee. It's like, well, didn't you go after what would be easier?
You went to the easy targets.
You went to the easy targets. Like, the whole time I was like, why are they going after, what was the guy's name, Jazavi?
That's the guy they couldn't get.
That was the guy. That's the guy that has been missing since 1994.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they called him the magician because he makes people disappear.
But I don't understand the thing I would have liked to know more about in this episode is how they came up with this Tin Man operation and all these 6 guys. Like, why do they think these guys are involved?
That was my point.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what didn't make any sense to me. How they connected that to
They didn't spend any time in giving us the
Well, you
connection.
figure in the 2 months after the bombing, they all got together and they said, okay, you've pulled every resource you can from every branch of the government and military to get this information on who these guys are.
Are they related to Nazir some kind of way?
No, they just, they might have been. But
were they funding his operation?
This is the network they think was responsible for the bombing. That's what they were thinking. So we didn't see any of that because that can be kind of boring, and it doesn't include any of our characters.
Yeah, but usually when there's that's true. But usually when there's a big hole in the story, like whenever I've seen episodes in the past, I'm like, I don't get why they did. They usually answer. I feel like that hole will be filled in. Like there's a connection there, and they might address that later.
No, I think the only thing they're going to hang on to about that is Majid. He's the magician. He's their next taboo.
Right.
So,
I know that as soon as they mention the name, I'm like, oh, now I gotta memorize this weird name.
Yeah.
Well, I just call him the magician.
Some people think he's dead, and then
he's not.
And
dead.
then Saul walks in, he was like, he's not dead.
No, he's not dead.
So that's the guy that we want.
That's the new
our next big arch enemy.
Right.
Yeah.
So instead of that,
okay. Well, we shall see. Did we pretty much cover everything?
I think we did.
For the most part. Okay. We'll just go on to the news and gossip.
All right.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Okay. So, Emmy Awards.
Well, we can all rejoice because Claire Danes won her 3rd Emmy, Best Actress in a Drama for Homeland. Of course.
Second. It was second?
Oh, was it second?
Season. This is the 3rd season, so it's only the 2.
Right. That's right.
She won for other things.
She won. Yeah, it is her. I think it might be her 3rd Emmy, but maybe I'm wrong.
So.
Anyway, the show did not win Best Drama because Breaking Bad had to take it because it's his last season. Whatever, Breaking Bad. Homeland is a better show.
Politics.
And just wait.
That was duly earned, I might add.
Right.
Whatever, I think Homeland's better.
Breaking Bad is a good show, too.
So if you guys love Claire Danes from My So-Called Life days all the way up until now in Homeland, she just got her Emmy, and she deserved it, in my opinion. And as you saw in this episode, she killed it.
Good job, Claire.
Yay, Claire.
Congrats. We love you too, Damian Lewis. Sorry.
Damian Lewis. That was a mixture.
Damian Brody.
Right. That's right.
Okay, cool. All right, let's go into predictions for Episode 2,
Now,
Season 3.
Your AfterBuzz TV
Homeland.
predictions.
Well, I had one, but it's kind of ruined now because we saw the trailer for
upcoming
the season. Yeah, because we see that Brody's off looking for whatever and becomes an addict. So,
dude,
yeah,
what is that about?
Trades one thing for another.
Like,
so
what is that? Like, really? Heroin, really?
And then, of course, she's on the run now. So that was, so it's not really a prediction anymore because it's now in the trailer.
Well, my prediction is that this whole her going to the media thing, which we saw in the trailer coming up for next week or a following week, is that something that's not going to go well, and then she's going to have to go on the run.
Yeah, she has to now because she.
So what's she
talking about her being a liability before? Now it's okay. Now you're actually threatening us.
But she's going to go on the run and like hook up with Brody somewhere.
Yeah,
I'm guessing she's going to try to find him.
Yeah, of course she is.
The map was there, the cork boards. I mean, it's all set up. She may figure out or try. I think he's here. She'll go there. She'll get information. I mean,
and she'll have sex with him.
Do you guys think that they already had a plan set up?
No.
Before,
I don't know.
In case everything went sideways,
Look,
everything went left. It's like, this is what we're going to do. If everything goes left, this is what we do.
Okay, my prediction, last season, Brody, she almost had him in the middle of the season, and he disappeared on a helicopter, and he was gone. He was missing for like a whole entire day. Some crazy something went on there, has something to do with the bomb, has something to do with what he's doing now. So that will be uncovered. My prediction throughout the season, but my prediction more closer to like maybe next episode or the episode after that is I feel that Saul will reveal to Carrie how he is not really throwing her under the bus. I think there's a master plan there. I hope there is, please. It's wishful thinking, maybe more than a prediction, but my prediction is that we will see that he is helping.
But to speak to your question, I don't think Carrie and Brody figured out anything ahead of time. I don't think there's no safe site that they said, okay, if things go weird, let's meet in Sri Lanka. I don't think they did that.
Right, okay. I think that Dana is going to let this boy get her in some kind of trouble next week.
Of course. She's going to get pregnant.
Next week she gets pregnant? Or that's a seasonal prediction?
Yes. I just shocked myself with that prediction. That came like right now, and she's going to get pregnant. Oh my God, you're laughing. That's going to happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would love that. I would love to see her at Planned Parenthood.
Hey.
Anyway.
Oh my God, please don't let her breed.
Where can we find you guys until next week?
I'm Lauren Leonelli. You can find me at Lauren Leonelli on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and my website.
You can't find me anywhere. I'm incognito. You can't even find me here.
He's like Abu Nazir.
And you can, no, just Avi now.
Yeah.
Right?
Whatever.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Club Thaddeus. And you can find me here Thursdays.
That's right.
On The League.
The League.
With The League, man.
Yes.
Lauren Leonelli, The League on FXX at 7:30 on Thursdays. AfterBuzz TV. Until next time, AfterBuzzers, peace.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.